Okay, number five.
At five is a film from 1966. From the opening, you just kind of know you're in for something special. It's Pharaoh and it's absolutely amazing. It's one of those films that you just wonder how it got made. It's Polish, but it's about ancient Egypt. The ancient Egyptians are speaking Polish, strangely enough. Shot in Uzbekistan. It's like 2.5 hours long, but it's just phenomenal. The cinematography is absolutely gorgeous. Um, it's kind of Shakespearean intrigue between the younger pharaoh and the old regime, the priests. There's lots of plotting going on, but it's just absolutely riveting. It's an absolutely beautiful film. It's one of those films you could watch without the volume, switch the subtitles off because visually it still tells the story visually. Again, another absolute gem from Second Run, who we say all the time don't get the credit because they don't have like slip covers and big books or anything, but they just do phenomenal work. And Pharaoh or Pharaoh, as far as a spectacle, just absolutely blew me away. It's spectacular, strangely enough.
My number five is Onibaba from Japan. One of the films that has just always been in my list to get around to at some point. It's a really short little film and just tells a really nice, simple story with essentially three main characters. What I was expecting was a ghost story, and it's actually about real people in real life. I just thought it was brilliant, and it's almost one location within that kind of within those reeds, isn't it? I heard
Yeah.
recently the crew weren't allowed to leave the location while they were filming. I don't know if that's true, but on the disc there's behind the scenes footage of them just living in these old wooden huts
Yeah.
while they're trying to film it, and yeah, it would have been horrendous.
Yeah, I mean, it's really claustrophobic. It is almost like a world under the real world.
Yeah, the way they've composed the shots, it just every shot looks really beautiful, and even though it's just always that swaying reeds and rushes.
It just looks gorgeous in black and white.
Yeah, the main actress in it, who was also in Kuroneko and Naked Island, they've really sort of dressed her down for this one and made her look really old and haggard. And in reality, she was a beautiful film star in Japan.
Hiko Shindo as a writer is pretty interesting as well because he did quite a few Masamura's stuff,
Right.
slightly perverse, darker ones. You can probably bet it was Shindo that wrote them. So,
Well, there's a surprising level of nudity in Onibaba, isn't there? And it's all
yeah.
about, sexual frustration and things. With these big stars, you think, crikey, this is
Yeah.
pushing the boundaries a bit.
Don't get that in a Kurosawa film.
No.
This is a kind of two for one. Jean de Florette and Man de Source, Claude Berry from 1986, a classic that I'd never actually seen, or two classics I'd never actually seen. Talk about beautiful countryside. This is the pure pastoral beauty. Again, it's a simple tale of greed and jealousy and betrayal over land and the source of water. Yvonne Tond and Daniel Otai own land that they've had for generations, and then Gerard Depardieu turns up with his wife on the neighbouring lot, essentially. And Monton basically tries to screw everything up for Depardieu. Characters you want to spend time with, even if they're reprehensible at times. It just shows human beings, as we know they are, horrible, terrible people to each other. So,
Quite often, yeah.
and then Emmanuel Béart turns up and obviously kind of throws the whole thing up in the air. Over the last couple of years, Yves Montand has gone up my big board because I'd never really seen him in much, and then I've seen him in so much stuff now. But even though Yves Montand is a terrible human being, and he is a terrible human being in this, he is riveting, just absolutely beautiful. You can almost feel the sunshine. Yeah, just tremendous. And it is bleak despite the sunshine. It's an absolute joy, even though it's bleak.
My number four is The Leopard by Visconti. So bright sunshine, glorious landscapes, and the sounds of buzzing of the insect, chirping of crickets and things. It's a film about people in power. I just thought it was stunningly beautiful and just blew me away. And the fact that Burt Lancaster is kind of heading it was again one of those films that I knew about. There were so many people hailing it as a classic. I just thought I'd better get around to it. The first hour is quite hard work because you're just getting to know the people in it, and there's all the politics of brewing civil war, in and around southern Italy. In the second hour, Claudia Cardinal shows up, so you've got the kind of romance between her and Alain Delon, which is just, you couldn't ask for a better couple to be watching. And then the party in the final hour of the film is just stunning with all this colour and all these characters, and Burt Lancaster sort of walking from room to room. Just incredible, epic. It's kind of up there with The Godfather for me as these kind of real iconic films.
I really need to rewatch it. I've got the BFI Blu-ray, but it has been a couple of decades. Also, Radiance have been releasing more Visconti, which is good because Visconti certainly went up in my estimations as well. I would certainly put him higher than Fellini and Antonioni. And
Oh yeah, yeah. I wouldn't expect to enjoy a film by Visconti or connect with a film by him because, he's an Italian count or something, isn't he, in real life, and you just think, I'm going to have nothing in common with this guy. But just makes an incredibly intelligent film with The Leopard. And it really captures that changing of the social structure in southern Italy around that time, with Burt Lancaster feeling he's becoming more and more part of the old guard and hasn't really got a place in the future.
Yeah. Credit Burt Lancaster for doing that as well. Obviously, we know so many American actors did spaghetti westerns or went and did giallos and stuff. Go and do some Visconti films.
Yeah, beautiful film.
Well, number 3, it's a really modern film. It's 2023 and it's a samurai time. About this character. It starts in Kyoto and the end of the Edo period. He is in a sword fight and with lightning he gets transported to the modern world where he just happens to turn up where they're filming samurai TV shows. It's a bit of an adjustment. He becomes a better swordsman and learns under the tutelage of this older guy who came from a samurai family. And he slowly becomes this kind of master stuntman and master swordsman, even though still, he's a real samurai. It's funny. They don't actually play too much in the fish out of water modern world and the old world. It's just an absolutely wonderful film. It'll put a smile on your face. But for me, it's actually quite moving because this kind of brought out what I love about Japanese cinema, what I love about Jaideki and Chanbara films. I mean, it is in memory of Shizuo Fukumoto, who was an actor who died more than 50,000 times in his cinema career. The guys in the background that get killed all the time in samurai films. So it works as a comedy, it works as a kind of time travel film, but it's actually about cinema itself. It's about the history of Japanese cinema. It's an age that doesn't exist anymore. And obviously, we know there was issues with the Bushido, but the samurai code did stand for something that's obviously kind of been lost over the years. If you haven't watched many Japanese films, if you haven't steeped yourself in those films from the 50s, 60s, you're probably not going to have the same reaction to the film as I did, which is fair enough. But for me, it was just quite moving and quite wonderful.
So I've got 3 films at number 1. I can't separate them.
Do my number 2 then. It's Lars von Trier's Dancing in the Dark.
Oh, yeah.
It's my favourite von Trier that I've seen so far. He's one of the enfants terribles, but I would rate him higher than Gaspar Noé and Michael Haneke. I mean, he has a cheeky wee scamp. So the films I'd seen of his, there's a few 4-star films, but he hadn't quite done a 5-star film for me. But this one was for me. It is a musical. The artifice of musicals is, people are going about their normal lives and then all of a sudden they burst into song and it's like, what? And then once the song's finished, they kind of go back to the reality. But it sort of works. Bjork is really good as a woman who's losing her sight, desperately trying to keep hold of her son, Catherine Deneuve, which initially I didn't realise she was actually in it. Catherine Deneuve's fantastic as always.
The guy in it, the cop, who always seems to play terrible people.
Yeah, David Morse is really underrated.
Yeah, you just hate him so much, don't you? And just all the suffering that Björk has to go through in it.
She's so kind of fragile.
Yeah.
And you want things to work out for her. But...
Yeah. Oh, God, I'm going to cry. As brilliant as it is, I'm not sure I'm ever going to be in the right kind of frame of mind to rewatch it.
Yeah, it's funny, on Letterboxd there's lots of kind of 5-star reviews for it, but it's like I'm never going to watch it again. It's like a lot of the times, for a guy that is deliberately, sometimes he wants you to hate his films. But I think von Trier films are about something. He does actually write characters that are engrossing and you do actually want to know what happens to them. But she's just phenomenal in it. The songs work. Again, it's not a happy-go-lucky film.
No.
It's perhaps a film you're going to watch on a Saturday night with popcorn. Yeah, I just thought it was phenomenal, but the ending for me really nailed it. The ending's fantastic. Absolutely wonderful. Give it a go. It's probably the Lars von Trier film that I've seen so far that's got the biggest heart.
I whizzed through my favourite 3 of the year, which I just couldn't separate. I just thought all 3 of them were great. So the first one is Red Post on Escher Street by Shion Sono, Japanese enfant terrible, as it were. In contrast to something like Marketa Lazarova, which took 560 days to make, he made this film in 8 days with a cast of essentially drama students. The film is about the filmmaking process and about a filmmaker who's been contracted to make a film and the kind of process he goes through, the audition process to bring the cast together and the kind of interference of the studio producers. So it's a really simple little film, but because there's all these different characters in it that are going through the kind of process, there's always going to be a character in there that you just really like or, really empathise with. So I think, it's a lovely film that anyone could get something lovely out of. When I first saw it, I had it quite low down in my list, and it's one that's just kind of risen up through the list. I mean, I get emotional just thinking about this film because you've got these characters that you really care about. I think they did like 3 days of pickups at the end. So I think it was 11 days where they actually had a camera. It's just got a really kind of heart-wrenching ending to it. So he's an interesting guy.
Yeah, I'm still on the fence. I know obviously like Nazarene Prod and Bulgarian Troglodyte, I absolutely love them. But I did enjoy Love Exposure.
With this one, because there's all the different characters, you're going to find someone there that you just think, oh, yeah, I want to see what happens to this character. He's an interesting filmmaker that he's producing he's going into a lot of different genres, and some films I've really, really loved and some I've really, really hated. So it's not like in that middle of the road kind of area. The next one is La Ciénaga, which is a debut film of Lucrecia Martel from Argentina. And it's just about a family, sort of upper middle class family, I guess, on the edge of the forest. There's kind of no rules within the family or anything. The parents are completely neglectful. Just let the kids do anything. You got the sound of the jungle behind them, and you can hear gunshots. And it's the little kids, the youngest kids. They're all out there with guns, shooting things. So you've just got this kind of distant sound of kids misbehaving. The mother kind of falls over and falls onto this glass, and all the parents are just too drunk to do anything about it. So the kids have to take her to hospital. I came to it because I was looking for favourite shower scenes for one of my videos, and then I thought I'll look online just to check that I haven't missed something that's really obvious that I should have included. And I saw this film mentioned on a couple of lists, and I thought, I've never even heard of this film. What on earth is it? It's like from 2000, 2001. But it was on the Criterion collection, so I kind of thought, oh, well, it's probably quite a good film. And then checked it out that way and found it. The shower scene is just a sweet little moment between a brother and a sister. The sister's trying to have a shower and the brother's just trying to clean mud off of his legs. You can see all these little relationships between the characters, and they're all very comfortable around each other, and they sleep wherever they want, and they'll share beds. I think it's quite an autobiographical film, potentially Lucrecia Martel's kind of upbringing, essentially. Again, a film I'd never heard of before. My third number one spot is Grand Tour. Again, a film I hadn't heard of, but I saw some videos online about it. It looked interesting, and then just really loved it. And it's a story of a guy who's traveling around Southeast Asia. It's this sort of colonial kind of figure, and he keeps getting telegrams from his fiancée who's saying, oh, I'll be arriving by steamer in 2 days. And he's trying to avoid her. He's kind of shirking his responsibility. So he kind of quickly books a boat and he goes to a different country in Asia. And it's this kind of really interesting travelogue. And it's intercut with scenes of current day Southeast Asia, those same countries that Miguel Gomez had. I think he just personally recorded things as he was traveling around. So you've got these very modern images juxtaposed with this really old setting. And then at precisely the halfway point in the film, it jumps from his story to his fiance's story. And then you follow her for the second hour of the film. And, she bumps into people and they say, oh, yeah, I saw, Edward was here, but he's gone. He left 2 days ago. And she's just really doggedly just following him. And she kind of makes it kind of funny that her husband-to-be is avoiding her. So I saw this really early in the year, and I got to December and started to compile my final list. And I kind of thought, well, did I really like that film? Because it's so odd, it's so strange. So I went back and watched it, and I loved it even more the second time. The kind of modern images of those places, are really sort of fascinating, and I appreciated them a lot more the second time I watched it, because then I knew what the relevance of them was or what the story was.
Yeah, I wasn't familiar with it when I saw it on your list, but now that you've described it, I'll have to try that down.
Yeah, so those are my three, and like I say, I couldn't separate them. Even though all three are so different, they all rate as my favourite of the year. Okay, so yeah, let's get to your long-anticipated number one.
It's my kind of love story. It's The Night Porter. 1974. What a year for cinema, 1974. It's a love affair, but obviously under not perfect circumstances, about this relationship between two people who crossed paths after the war, and that brings back memories when Dirk Bogarde was a Nazi officer and Charlotte Rampling was a prisoner. And obviously it's controversial because their feelings for each other are consensual rather than prisoner and perpetrator. Love appears in all strange manner of places, apparently. Plus, he's kind of being possibly investigated and going to be exposed as a war criminal. Late career Dirk Bogarde has been really eye-opening for me. Because obviously in my younger years, I know who Dirk Bogarde is, but it's obviously a kind of the gentleman dandy about him. But his late career is just full of really interesting and broken characters. And Charlotte Rampling is fantastic as well. It's a fearless performance. It's fascinating. It's like watching insects relate to each other. Just brilliant performances. The ending is perfect. It's definitely up my street as far as the ending. It is kind of beautiful. It has that Melville greyness to it. Obviously controversial. I don't think it's deliberately, provocative or exploitative. It's not as exploitative as perhaps you might think.
It seems that Wes Anderson used a lot of that imagery for Grand Budapest Hotel, but in a nice, fluffy...
Yes, it's a fun double bill.
Yeah.
Dirk Bogarde, his late career has just impressed me so much. And the ending just absolutely sealed the deal. But it's just beautiful. It's just a stunner.
That was A Book at Bedtime.